What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today is Fan Friday, and the way we usually work Fan Friday is we leave a deck suggestion down below, and we play the deck for Fan Friday. But we didn't have any suggestions last week, so I decided to do a different way, is I posted on Twitter, Facebook, anywhere I can think of, hey, what do you think your top 5 cards from Brilliant Stars are? And also, this is the first video with Brilliant Stars. It is on PTCGO now. My video for Expanded Thursday was made before Brilliant Stars is online. So now Brilliant Stars is online. You can see we have Brilliant Stars on our account. But what I did is I took a list and I just ranked them all. And today's video is going to be the top cards for Brilliant Stars voted by the fans. So that's what we're going to look at today. There are 11 cards that were suggested overall, and we're going to go from which one had the least votes to the ones that had the most votes. So we'll see what this is like. Yeah. So leave a deck suggestion down below. Whatever it is, we'll play it. And I'm down. So make sure you leave your deck suggestions for next Fan Friday. Brilliant Stars is playable, so let me know. So coming in last place, it's actually going to be Floatzel. Floatzel has the attack Floatify. Put 2 active cards, Freebius Corral, back into your hand. Now this was an attack used by Sableye that eventually got banned. So it's going to be interesting in the expanded format how this kind of works out. Now it does kind of, it's, a little in a better spot. Sableye was a basic while this one is a stage 1. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of works out with it being stage 1. I think it's still going to be interesting because you can still play like Zoroark, which could transform into a stage 1. So you pretty much have like consistent like stage 1 attackers thanks to Zoroark, and you can have multiple weasels and stuff like that. But we'll see. Is it enough to keep expanded safe by making this a stage 1? That's going to be the big question. I think at standard it's going to be fine. You don't have like crazy card combos that I think doesn't really like make it bad. Yeah, you still have access to Zoroark, which is also available in expanded, but you don't have all the like super broken cards that you do in expanded. So it's going to be interesting to see what Floatzel actually does. So that is in last place. Next up, we actually have Cynthia's Ambition. Draw cards, you have 5 cards in your hand. If your Pokemon is knocked out during your opponent's last turn, draw and you have 8 cards in your hand instead. Now this is a pretty cool attack, especially if you're playing a deck that's like lower HP Pokemon, because usually it was always like shuffle, draw, extra, and I think this is the first, maybe, don't quote me on this. I think, though, that it's the first of its kind saying, hey, if a Pokemon's knocked out, draw to get 8 cards in your hand instead of just 5, which is, like, really good, because you can, like manipulate your hand size. Like, hey, if they take a knockout next turn, I can play Cynthia and draw and keep these cards, and that's a really cool thing. I do like that a lot. Plus, like, drawing up to 5 is not a terrible thing. I mean, I think draw 6 was what Bianca used to do, or still does. But I think it's still good in single price decks. Just be able to draw to have 8 could be really good. I think it is better than Shuffle Draw 8, because Shuffle Draw 8 could just like give you random cards, while this one you can like Ultra Ball and like manipulate your hand size and then draw to 8 cards in your hand, which is really cool. And I like that a lot. So I think Cynthia's Ambition is going to be somewhat of a cool deck to see in like single price decks. We'll see how it is going forward, if it is going to play in like the VMAX decks, right? Next up is probably one of my favorite supporter cards of the new set, and then it's Gloria. Too bad it's not Brigetti, but search deck for 3 base Pokemon that don't have a rule box and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. So this is really nice. It's not different typings, right? Like, oh, like Professor's Research or whatever it was, Professor's New whatever. It's just 3 base Pokemon and then go into your bench. Now this is going to help those evolution decks super setup because it's without rule box, and I'm glad to see that this like clause is back, because we haven't seen the rule box clause. I think we had it all in the last set, so it's cool that we have it back, saying, hey, you can't grab rule box Pokemon, but you can grab those really basic setup decks, so stage 1, stage 2 decks. So I do love to see the support, and especially because we have a new Pokemon that's also on this list that really does help these one-of supporter cards that we're going to talk about more. Next up is going to be a card that is Roseanne's Backup. They said Roseanne's Research, and I think they meant backup. I could be confused. I'm pretty sure they meant Roseanne's Backup. Now this is pretty interesting because it's the first supporter card that has a 4-of. Shuffle Pokemon from you to scroll into your deck. Shuffle a tool card, so we can get back tool card now, which is pretty cool. Because there is some like tool droppy decks now. You have like Honcho coming back. They can have tool cards attached to it, so that's pretty cool. You get a stadium card as well, which is pretty neat. And you get an energy card. So you get all 4 of these for 1 supporter card, which is fantastic. You can get back very important cards like a Pokemon. You can get back a tool card, so you can get back Choice Band. You can get back a stadium card, which can be, I don't know, Path to the Peak. You can get back an energy card, which could be the new double, triple colors thing. What's it called? The double turbo energy. You can get that back too. So there's a lot that you can get back with Roseanne's backup. That's pretty cool to notate because it's not a basic energy. It's not a basic Pokemon. It's just 4 of. Now, they do get shuffled back into your deck, so we'll see how that kind of all plays out. But I think this is a really, really cool card that we haven't seen too much, and it really doesn't have any like limitations because it's 1 or more. You could do all of them. You could do 2 of them. It's up to you. If you're like, okay, I don't want to shuffle these Pokemon back, or rather just shuffle like a tool card and stadium card, you can do that. And that's pretty cool, and I love that in the Roseanne's research. Next up is going to be a card that a lot of people are excited about, and that is B-Barrel. I don't know how to say its name. Once during the tournament, draw to have 5 cards in your hand. Now, this is a reprint of good old Octillery. It's a reprint of Octillery. It does have, I think, a better attack than Octillery did, but you get to flip a coin, so maybe it's not something. I don't know. It's 120 HP, which is kind of unfortunate because Octillery, I remember, is 90 HP, so this is not searched out by Lovable like it is back in the day. Let's turn the filters off real quick. So this was 90 HP, so you can't like Lovable for it, so it's a little bit worse. But it's going to be interesting to see what decks play B-Barrel and what decks play Inteleon, because we're definitely in a format now where you can play both. I mean, not in the same deck. I play Inteleon and B-Barrel in my deck. But now you're in the situation of like, okay, do I play B-Barrel or do I play Inteleon, right? And that's going to be really cool to see coming forward, because like, do you guarantee the 1-up with like Drizzios, right? Or do you guarantee every single turn that you're drawing 5 cards in your hand? That's the real question. And it's going to be really cool to see how this kind of works out. You can search out with Evolution Instance, which is still a really good effect. And I think B-Barrel will see a lot more play than what people are really starting to think about. So next up is going to be our first V-Star, my guy himself, Mr. Shaman, making an appearance. He's always hanging in the background, or at least trying to, if I could remember put him there. That's 250 HP. It has the attack Revenge Blast, which is 120. This attack does 40 more damage for each price card your opponent has taken. Now, is it okay? I don't know if it wasn't a V. Like, if this attack was on the Shaman V, I think this card would be a million times better, right? But Revenge Blast, 120 plus 40, so you have to have it out for a turn so you get the V-Star, right? There's really no way around that, unfortunately. Revenge Blast, with 5, what you're doing, 100 and, 5, 10, 50, you're doing 320, right? If you're taking 5 price cards. And even then, like, that's not gonna knock out 1. I guess you can't choice, no, you can't choice belt it, right? I don't think you can choice belt it. But it, is it as good as it's getting hyped? I don't know. I want it to be good, right? I would love to see Shaman V-Star. And what's cool about these V-Stars, and they only give out 2 prize cards. So that's pretty neat. And also you have a Star Bloom as your V-Star power. During the tournament, he'll 120 from from each of your bench grass Pokemon. So from each of them, not just one of them. So that's pretty cool. But is it worth playing in your deck? I don't know. If you can somehow make it where like grass Pokemon are super tanky and like go to the bench and heal like 3 Leafeon V maxes for 120 or something, that could be really cool. But what math does that change? I don't know. That's the big thing as well. And I want to give credit to Revenge Blast. Like, I want it to be good. Like, right, they take 2 knockouts, you 200. They taking 3, you're doing 240 plus a choice belt, 270. So I don't know. I gotta read choice belt. I can't remember if attached to V's or not. But Shaman is in there. I mean, I'm not gonna say no. I wish it was land form Pokemon. If you're listening, I know you are. Can we please make land form Shaman and not always sky form Shaman? So while we're at it, let's take a look at regular Shaman V, right? And see, is the regular Shaman V even worth putting in your deck, right? So let's do this. And so here's Shaman V. It's got flat. Oh, it does have Revenge Blast. That's pretty neat. It's 40 plus 60 though. So if they take in 5 price cards, oh, you're actually doing 340, right? which is the same amount as this one, right? Because this one does 200. We actually do more with this one, right? Am I crazy? 40 more damage, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. No, 260. So you do 290 max. Oh, never mind. I don't know how I got so high up there a second ago. But I mean, it can knock out V stars for 2 energies. But how do you get 2 energies on it? That's the big question. I don't know. Why does his eyes look so weird? Okay, okay. All right, there we go. Is it as worth? I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't think it's gonna be as good as it got voted, unfortunately. All right, so next up, we actually have a really good card. I think this should be higher up on the list than what it was. We have Manaphy. Now, Manaphy is going to be fantastic because it directly counters some decks. It makes where you prevent all damage done to your bench Pokemon by attacks for your opponent's Pokemon. So this is going to shut down Jolteon and it's going to shut down Urshifu, which is fantastic. You're like, okay, my deck loses to Jolteon and Urshifu, but now we just beat them because we have this Manaphy that's going to protect our bench, making it say, okay, you're not going to knock out multiple of my low HP Pokemon, and Manaphy can protect them. And I imagine Manaphy just by itself is going to make Jolteon just like shoot down and play because like, how do you beat that if you only do 100 to the active? I don't think it's worth it. I guess you could have Teleon Ping, like triple Inteleon plus Zigzagoon Ping, right? I guess you could do that, right? Yeah, so we'll see. I do think that Manaphy will help out a lot against Jolteon, help out against Urshifu, and just that by itself is a really, really good card to come from Brilliant Stars. Next up is, we're getting down to like the really, really good stuff, right? Next up is Double Turbo Energy, which is a fantastic card. As long as this card is attached to Pokemon, provides 2 colorless energies. Yes, that's right. 2 colorless energies. Double colors is back. But the thing is, you take 20 less damage. But this is such a big card. Like, it is, like, huge. It is so good. The most broken deck in last set is going to love this. It's gonna be interesting to see how, like, Mew adapts going forward. Because if we look at Mew VMAX, and this is just a one example that I just think on top of my head. Like, Mew VMAX for itself, all it needs is a double colors, and you can use, the attacks, which we know how broken that is. Now, I don't think you 100% cut all Fusion Strike energies because, like, Meloetta's attack so good, but to be able to attach for a single DCE and swing, it's going to be so great. You just attack out of nowhere, right? Beforehand, you need, well, I guess you really just needed 2 cards. Now, this one, you just need 1 card, right? So we'll see. I mean, there's so many decks that play, like, double colors. I know everybody's excited for Mad Party and stuff like that. I think Mad Party is not going to be as good. I'll probably just eat my words. But I think Mad Party is not going to be as good as people are thinking. I think it's still like too slow without Battle Compressor and without Unknown R and like all these other cards that we had in the standard format. And like you can't Shaman multiple times and like you only have access to Crobat and like Dudini. So I think Mad Party is going to be like capped. I don't think it can I don't think it's going to be as well as people are thinking it's going to be. But Double Turbo Energy is going to provide so many decks that I'm not going to name right now because I just can't remember them. I just know Mew and Mad Party are the big 2 ones. There's actually another card I'm staring at right now that's going to help as well. But, man, yeah, it's so good. It's really, really good. I'm excited to see what decks this change. It's going to change. This whole set's going to shake up the format just because of, like, Double Turbo Energy by itself. But speaking of things going to shake up the format, it's going to be Choice Belt. I've been talking about it a little bit. They tax this card, do 30 more to Pokemon V. So that means you're doing 30 more damage to Pokemon V, VMAX, whatever. And that might not seem a lot, but that 30 damage is going to be so clutch. Like, we talk about the Shaman V Star, right? You're doing 120 plus 40. So with 5, you're doing, you're doing 320, right? But with the Choice Band, you do a 350. That's pretty strong. Like with Mew, for example, I mean, you used to do 210. You play that Fusion Strike, you do minus 20, but now you do Fusion Strike Energy. So, not Fusion Strike Energy. You're doing Choice Belt, so you're doing even more damage. So now you're doing 230 minus, you're doing 220, right? Yeah, 220. I don't know what math that changes, but Choice Belt doing 30 more damage. It doesn't seem like a lot right now, but I promise it is a game changer. This is like any kind of tool card that's add additional damage has always been a huge help in the format, and I imagine Joy Bell is going to be that. I know I'm not doing a very good job of selling it right now, but there's a ton of different cards that could take advantage of this. Trust me, take my word, it's going to change the format. But to me, the number one card that's in the set, and I think it got voted number 3, was Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball, be able to discard 2 cards and grab a Pokemon. And this is fantastic. Now, this might be just old Josh talking because we haven't been in this format before, but be able to discard 2 cards, grab a basic, and grab a evolution is something we don't have in this format right now. We have Quick Ball that grabs basics. We have Great Ball that fingers crossed. We have Evolutionistance that grabs your evolutions. But now we have Ultra Ball. So Ultra Ball is going to be able to search for any Pokemon in your deck. The downside is you do discard 2. I get that. I understand it. But I don't think it's going to be as bad as people think it is. But like I said just a second ago, we haven't been really in a format that has like all these different ball search cards, right? So imagine this will probably replace Evolution Instance. This will probably replace Great Balls. You never play Great Ball again because you just play Ultra Ball. You guarantee that Pokemon instead. And then, like we pointed out earlier, you have B-Barrel. B-Barrel is going to, if you play it in your Ultra Ball decks, you can draw and you have 5 cards in hand. Oh man, an Ultra Ball 2, oh my goodness. Grabbing Genesect, be able to thin your hand out and then draw more with the Genesect. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. Oh, Genesect gets even more broke with Ultra Ball and Double Turbo Energy. That's insane. But, there's going to be a lot that comes with Ultra Ball. Just guarantee that evolution or basic is going to be so strong. And I can't wait to play Ultra Ball. And there's like a million gold arts now. So like gold arts should be like very cheap. Next up is what I was kind of talking about earlier. Leminion V. It's got Luminia's sign. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may search it for a supporter card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Now this is going to be fantastic because now you can play these one-up supporter cards and actually search for them. You can search for your Gloria if you want to, right? To find your Pokemon turn 1, right? Instead of going, okay, I'm a Crobat, fingers crossed, we find these Pokemon we need. Nope, you go, you know what? I'm going to grab Gloria, and I'm going to guarantee these Pokemon I need right now. Oh, what's that? A Pokemon that's knocked out? I can put my hand down to 0 because of Ultra Ball, play Leminion for Cynthia's ambition, draw, you have 8 cards in your hand. That's great. That's going to be so cool. I love Leminion. Now, the big difference here is Leminion is pretty much comparable to Jirachi because you're never, ever going to attack with Aqua Turn, right? 120, shuffle back into your deck. Whatever. We're never going to use that attack unless you're playing with the water deck, and even then, questionable at most, right? This is kind of what Jirachi was. Jirachi was a lower HP Pokemon, and it's weird to say that 170 is lower, but 170 is a lower HP, so it can be bossed up and knocked out. We know how bad it is to drop to Dini or Crobat on your bench and just don't get knocked out. This is even less HP than Crobat, so it is targetable, right? It can be punished real easily, which is like Jirachi, but it can't attack like Tapu Lele can. Tapu Lele had that DC attack for energy drive, whatever. You do a million damage because there's a million energies attached to both Pokemon, and you do a ton of damage. But with Leminion, it's actually capped because it has low HP, like Jirachi, right? So you're kind of like, okay, do I drop this Pokemon or not? It has 170 HP, and it can't attack. Because remember, when Tapu Lele was played, 180 was like pretty much the max at the time. Like, that was it. Like, that was the highest HP. You're like, 180, busted, let's go. Like, that was a lot of HP. This literally has less HP than Tapu Lele does. So that's a big thing to think about. So I think Pokemon did a great job redesigning this like Pokemon. I think it's like the most fair design of all of them, right? I did like Jirachi, but even Jirachi was level ball. This is only able by Quick Ball and Ultra Ball, right? You can't level ball for this thing, which I guess is okay. Whatever, it's fine. It's fine. But I'm fine with this card being back. It's definitely not going to be like a 4-of like we saw sometimes with Tapu Lele, because that's just crazy, right? It's not a good attacker. So I think this is fine. I like this Jirachi approach instead of the Tapu Lele approach, right? So this is great. I like that Pokemon did this. They, went back to the old style of like, let's find a supporter card. And it's going to be great because now we can play these like weird one-of supporter cards and actually like consistently find it because of Leminion. Like, I'm so excited. And then last up is the poster child himself, Arceus V-Star. Just read its attack. You'll see why. 200 damage, great, right? It has 280 HP, which is already pretty strong for a V-Star, right? I think it's like one of the higher HPs we've seen so far. And then Trinity Nova does 200 for 3 colors. So a double turbo energy and whatever else. So you're doing 180, which is great. You're two-shotting most VMAXs, if not all of them. So that's really cool, right? 360 is going to one-shot most of them. And you say search deck for 3 basic energy cards and attach them to your V Pokemon any way you like, then shuffle your deck. Let's go. That's a really, really good, like, this is busted. ADP was like one of the best attacks ever printed, right? And now we got it back. We got ADP attack back. And it's for less, like, better energy requirements. Because, like, ADP, you need, like, you know, the water. You needed, was it fighting? I already forgot. It's been that long since I've seen RC's, like, ADP. But now we got it back. Let's go ahead and unsource this. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, ADP, oh, it needed, I said fighting. It needed water, metal, and colorless. 3 different types. While now, Arceus, just three. You don't have the broken GX attack either. You do have a good V-Star attack, right? Starbirth, during training, we search check for up to 2 cards and put them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Now remember, this is only once per game, and you're only finding 2 cards. Now, what this really does is basically guarantees you like the turn to attack, right? But the question is, what do you play Arceus V-Star with? I think the cool thing is, like, the cheesy answer is anything. Like, literally, you can play it with anything, right? I've seen people play with Duraludon, right? Start off Duraludon. I've heard people playing with Ice Rider. Sure, I don't know why Ice Rider. Whatever. You can play with Lapras. Lapras can thrive on this too. There's a lot of different ways you can play this. You can play with the new Raichu mechanic. That's pretty cool too. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Arceus V-Star is played. It's obviously the poster child of this set. It's the best card in this set, 100%. I would probably put Ultra Ball, like, in very, very tough competition with Arceus V-Star just because of how broken it is. But I can't disagree. It is one of the best cards in Brilliant Stars. So there we go, guys. There is the top list that was voted by the fans. It is Arceus, Leminion, Ultra Ball, Choice Belt, Double Turbo Energy, Manaphy, Shaman V-Star, B-Barrel, Roseanne's backup, Gloria, Cynthia's Ambition, and Float Soul. So there we go. If there's any cards I missed, let me know. I'm always down. I already have some ideas going into back of my head for Rogue Tuesday, Main Deck Monday. I'm already trying to decide what am I going to play with Main Deck Monday. Is it going to be Arceus? Is that going to be our first deck we see? Probably. We'll find out what I decide to pair it with. It's definitely very questionable. You can literally probably make, how many different types of energies we have? 7, 8? You can build 7 or 8 decks with this 100% and be fine with it. But yeah, I'm excited. There's, like, the new Entei and the fire mechanic stuff. I'm excited for Wormadon. I'm excited for Raichu. There's so much in Brilliant Stars that we really didn't have in the last set with Fusion Strike, because Mew just kind of took over the format. I still think Mew is going to be, like, one, if not the best deck coming into the format. It's just so good, and it gains Ultra Ball, Choice Belt, and Double Turbo Energy while having the plus power effect and everything else. It's going to be so good. Mew is going to be, like, one of the best decks still. The question is, what's going to throw in it for the first regionals? That's the big question. Salt Lake's coming up very shortly, so we'll see what happens. But guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Have a great Friday. We'll see you tomorrow for a weird, different kind of pack opening Saturday. Alrighty, bye.